From the state of Congress to the Farm Bill to immigration reform, our good friend Dr. Barry Flinchbaugh of Kansas State University always has such an interesting perspective to share. Let's check in with Dr. Flinchbaugh for his latest thoughts on the issues affecting the American beef industry.
Political fights, political differences, the name of the game. And you fight it out, and you have an election. And then you govern. And the only way to govern in a democracy is to compromise and meet each other halfway. And we got a bunch of ideological nuts back there now, both in the executive branch and the congressional branch, that don't understand democracy. They don't know how it works. Now, have there been worse times? Certainly. The 20 years before the Civil War. The late 1800s, the financial panic of 1893, for example. We've been through periods like, for example, where it's only happened one time, but we had a president who we kicked out and then put another one in, then turned around and put the former president back in. That certainly shows some dysfunction. But certainly in the modern era, there's no one alive that's seen anything like this. The agriculture economy, of course, has been the real bright spot. But even that, Washington tried to mess up by not passing a farm bill last fall. I mean, as I've told my congressman, to go home in the midst of the worst drought in 60 years and not pass a farm bill is an impeachable offense. Now, not legally, but certainly ethically it is. So they've even tried to unhinge the ag economy. They've not got it done, primarily because of the strong demand for food around the world, etc. But to kind of put this in a nutshell, the American economy has finally decided we can't rely on Washington, so we're going to do the best we can and ignore them. If we don't figure this immigration situation out, they're not only going to get more expensive food, they're going to get less of it. Our food system can't function without guest workers. So you devise a system, certainly we're smart enough to do this, that allows those people to come in here and pick the crop and work in the feedlot, etc. They go back home, come back again, do it all legally. I mean, after all they're doing is feeding their family. Well, people like to eat, and beef is the food of choice. Per capita incomes are rising around the world. The rate of increase has slowed some because of this recession we have been through. But we're going to have to feed 2 billion more people. In the lifespan of today's young cattlemen. We won't repeal the cycle, we won't repeal the ups and downs of the market, but the long-term trend has nowhere to go but up. Because if you don't feed those people, that's when you get the terrorism and the war and on and on and on and on. And every time you give people more money, or they earn more money, they adopt the habit of the wealthier people, which means more meat. And the luxury meat is beef.
Thanks, Dr. Flinchbaugh. We always appreciate your insight and perspective.